about me. I grew up in a pretty poor family. Dad couldn't keep a job because he was narcoleptic, or if that's the one where you fall asleep randomly, he would fall asleep randomly. He was a lifeguard, so he got fired from that job. He did a variety of jobs and couldn't really hold any very well. And we moved around a lot. And, we never lived in one spot for very long. And through my adult life, it has been that way. Not like I haven't been as poor as my parents because I'm just supporting myself. And so I've not, been that poor. But not wealthy enough to have my own place, at least since I lived in Moscow, Idaho. When I lived there, I actually could afford my own studio apartment, and I even had a 1-bedroom apartment at one point. And God, do I miss those days. Especially now in my later 30s, mid to later 30s, I'm really wanting to have my own spot, just to work on my own music. And I realized the importance of having times of solitude, and because I'm kind of 50-50, a solitude person or a solitary person, and the other 50% outgoing social guy. So I like both worlds, but I don't really get my own time just because I can't afford, especially out here in Olympia. You just, unless you're making at least $40 an hour, at least, you can't afford your own place. They start at $1,000, and that's not very much space. And it's not that I have a whole lot of things either, but having space is important. And yeah, it's just tough out there. I'd really like to move to Portland. It's tentatively my next place I'd like to go. But I've been in Olympia for going on 9 years now, and it's just, after being in a place for a while and enough jobs and enough things not working out, bands not working out, breakups, it just gets to this stagnant kind of point where it's I don't feel like I'm achieving any of the goals that I want to achieve in life, other than my own development, which is great. I've been achieving that, but as far as finding the resources, and I do have some community here. It's only so interactive. It's only so which is fine. I'm just a really collaborative person when it comes to creative things, but I've really been working on my own craft as far as just working on my own thing, working on my own music, my own style, my own songwriting. And it would be nice to one day have my own band and play my music, or a collaboration of my own and someone else's. Because so far in all the bands I've been in, I haven't done a whole lot as far as being a lead singer. So I was always a little, not super confident in that, but I've become a lot better at it. So, but I don't know, I just haven't been able to find the personality type for bands and relationships. I'm in a band right now that's actually pretty good. We don't play a whole lot of gigs. It's more of a dad band. We're not all dads, but I'm usually the youngest one in the band. And it's been a challenge to find people my age. Not that I have to be in a band with people my age, it's just I never have really been. So I'd like to have that experience. But moving is just such, like, it's just so mentally taxing to move. There was this time I almost had to move right after I had moved, and I pretty much had a mental breakdown. Or I don't know. It's like, I was like, I can't move again. Like, I don't even have that much stuff. But there's something about moving all your stuff and feeling like you don't have a place that's just like so depressing. And especially at this point in life, in my earlier 20s, it wasn't that big a deal. I'm like, I want to adventure around. I don't want to stay put. But the older I get, I just kind of want to have my own place and be able to cultivate my own vibe and have friends over when I want friends over. And I can be more social when I have my own time. And I get some of my own time where I live. I also have wonderful roommates. As far as the roommate situation, I have just about I have like the best I've ever had as far as that. So I really can't complain too much as far as having roommates. But I'm just at a point in life that I would love to just have my own space. And then I can be more present when I do have energy I can have more energy to be social after I've had my time of solitude that I need. So I feel like I'm in this weird position where I have too much and not enough social dynamic. And I think intimacy is a part of that. Like, having a partner it's like you get that intimacy, but you can also have that alone time instead of just kind of all the time having people around and not having anyone really close, but having some good friends, but it's all just kind of the same all the time, if that makes any sense. So that's been kind of tough for me. And Portland would be such a cool place to live. There's just so much variety of things. There's more comedy down there. There's more music venues. The food down there is amazing. I have some friends down there. I'd love to move down there, but it's like I just don't make enough. And also I have a pretty cool job now. So that's what's keeping me grounded here, and the friends I have. But I'll tell you, I am ready to move. And like, every time I've moved to a new place, I'll tell you, like they say you can't escape yourself, but it's like the next best thing. Like, you get a fresh environment, you're meeting new people, you're in a new, like, a place you haven't been for a long time, and you're just in a different frame of mind. Like, everything feels new, and you're using more of your brain, I feel like, to absorb like your environment and like the new experiences happening in the new space. So every time I've done that, it's been like awesome. It's like a good challenge, instead of a challenge where you're just trying to keep it going. And it's almost like if you have a marriage that isn't really what it was, and you're kind of just more like roommates than like partners, and you're just like keep putting up with it over the years for the sake of fidelity, but it's not like very enriching. It's not intimate anymore. And it kind of feels that way here. I mean, that's not the best analogy, but it's adjacent to that. And I'm just someone, like, there's depth to me that I don't feel like I'm using that part of myself. And I'll tell you, it's at least discouraging. At the most, feeling just like, what am I doing here? I don't like to feel constant need, and like I want, if I'm gonna, it's like live in this environment, this situation for a while, I want to create my own newness. And I've been working hard to do that. Like, I'll still try to go to new places I haven't gone, hit up friends, hang out. And that's another thing about this place. Like, I'll hit up my friends, but there's just not a whole lot of, like they don't hit me up to go places. I'm always the one, like, reaching out to them, being like, hey, do you want to go paddleboarding? You want to, like, go on this hike? You want to explore this new spot? And they're just like, don't have time. It's like, yeah, well, if I was important enough to you, you would make the time like I'm making. Like, I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm working on my own musical projects, and I'm in a band, and I do little other projects with people. Excuse me. I had inhaled coffee earlier, and I'm just like, I don't know. You'd think I'd be good at drinking at this point in life. But yeah, it just doesn't feel very reciprocated, and it's discouraging. I mean, I have occasionally, I have 3 best friends here, and they hit me up for stuff occasionally, which is cool. It's good to know that, people think about me and are interested and, want to hang out, because I definitely am an active, fun person that likes to do outings and go on adventures and have fun, and that's just part of my quality of life, is getting out there and having the human experiences instead of just work and hanging out with like the same friends and not meeting new people or going to new places. I dated someone like that. They just wanted to hang out with their friends. They wouldn't hardly ever hang out with my friends. And this is a complaint that you hear from a lot of partners, but it's that I would hang out with their friends, all the time, and it just wasn't very equal. And I just have a passion that can't be matched, I guess. And I love being a passionate person, and it's just sad that other people are too caught up in their own, they're just so stuck in their own circles and their own, my ex is that way. It's just and we try to be friends and stuff, but I don't know, it's just sad that it's we deserved a better future than this, It's there's so much more possibility in my life that just never occurred. Not to say it still couldn't happen, but I'm I'm slowing down over time. I'm not quite as much fun as I was, which is fine. I don't really judge that, but it's I want to experience more of those things when in my 20s. That's what I was going for. I was a very bright-eyed, soul-glowing kind of guy. And I don't know, when you have something really special like what I have and it's not appreciated, it's just it feels like a death. It feels like you're just an alien in a place where you're just some kind of minority that people can't perceive the value of, or at least enough to want to hit you up and go hang out. It shows it shows how much you care by how much you reach out and how much you actually even just spend some time to communicate with someone. And I don't mind if people don't text me back here and there, but it just happens so much, and it's just I try and I'm kind of just I'll reach these points where I'm I don't want to try anymore. It just hurts too much to not have it reciprocated. Yeah, I know this is kind of a sad video, but it's just the reality. It's just the reality we live in. I didn't want it to be this way. I don't live this way. My options are so limited. If I could just see more, perceive more, I could make the decisions I would want to make for myself. But everything is so unknown here. Just everything, you have to take a chance on it just to see if it's going to be a success. And after so much of things not working out, even in those things that didn't work out, I still gained from them. I still learn things, all that's good. I am thankful for that. It's just, I wanted to build a relationship by now, and like had something that lasts and not have to always start over all the time, and like it just gets old. And I'm 36 now, and I'm like, I was hoping at the latest by like 34 or something that something would light up in my life a little more, but it just seems to be getting more dull and dim. There's good times to be had. We live in a world of possibilities, and that's kind of the torture of it all, is there's so many possibilities, but we just, day after day, just the same mediocrity. Like, just the same mediocre, like, predictable things, and like, there's just so much more to me, and I push into that, and you can only go as far as like, as your perceptions are limited or your experience is limited. And it's just been really tough lately. I know I'm not the only one dealing with that. I'll tell you, it really is tough when you put yourself out there and make conscious effort, and it's just like no one seems to care enough. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what's happening. That's why it's just been easy for me to realize that, or acknowledge that, it's like everyone's just kind of a victim to how limited they are, and they can't, like, they could enjoy so much more, be so much more involved in things, and so much more enriched, but it's just so empty here. It's like, I just want to make this world light up, and it just won't. It just won't. There's just little moments of it in life, you gotta appreciate those, and they're so fleeting, and I think that's why people say life goes by so fast, because it's just those little moments are so brief. And then there's just these long chunks of time that are just like drab, just slogging through, chonking through the big old not fun bits of life just to get to those little islands of joy. It's crazy. And a lot of people, they're like, I love my life, and I'm like, I want to love my life more too. I used to, one day, I'm trying to keep that going, I still have a positive disposition with a lot of things, even though I've kind of lost heart in a lot of ways over time, through things just predictably not working out. And it's not like I'll go into a situation being like, well, this isn't gonna work out. I give the hope and careful intentions in every opportunity for it to actually work out. And that's what's so crushing. It would have been easier if I went about it oh, this isn't gonna work out. It's like, what difference would it have made? Because it wouldn't have worked out, and at least I would have not been so hopeful and excited for it to work out and get the predictable letdown. Well, you guys, I hope it's working out better for you than it's been for me. And perhaps one day I'll have a space to really cultivate the creativity to a more exponential level that I know I'm capable of, just for it to be unlocked. I don't know how long I'm here on this earth for, but I'll tell you, I'm not clinging to this life like it's my only life. I think if this is possible, there's worlds out there where it's possible to actually attain your life goals in a reasonable amount of time, and have things going that it's you condone and support, and are actually not just in this abandonment of I don't know, just lackluster in life. just chronic boredom is what people seem to have. It's so sad, and just how much they isolate themselves. It's really sad. And I grieve not only for myself, but for everyone around me that just seems to be so limited. Like, you deserve more, even if you don't realize you do. Even if you're like content with a very constricted, like, minimalism, which I also like minimalism.